So here we are today with one of our clients, Olivia, who's been with us for approximately a year. We're going to just take a few moments and ask her a couple of questions about her time with us and whatnot. First of all, just give us a quick introduction on yourself in terms of name, where you're from, what you kind of do.
Yep, so I'm Olivia. I'm currently over in England working. I'm a clinical physiologist in sleep and respiratory, and 32.
Awesome, awesome. Firstly, tell us a little bit then about what you were doing before you came in and joined us in terms of things you were doing training wise, nutrition wise, and things you were perhaps struggling with at that time.
Yep, so I'd previously signed up to a plan with somebody else, and they give you like the home workouts and things, and they give you a meal plan, which was going great for maybe a couple of months, and then you sort of get sick of eating gluten-free bread and chicken, broccoli, rice. So everything sort of stalled that sense. And I'd seen your blueprint and I was sitting on the fence a wee bit. And then I think you'd opened up the online coaching and joined that.
Let's flush it out a little bit more. So with regards to the diet plan, a lot of people have done similar things before. So if you jumped in, you done a diet plan. Tell us a little bit about that in terms of what was difficult with following through on that for a longer period of time.
One thing I would say most probably is there was no foods that I liked. It was somebody else's food that they liked that they were telling me to eat. There was no flexibility in it. You couldn't change it. And also I didn't learn anything from it. Like they didn't say like what I've learned from yourselves of how to fit it into my own daily living and to the food that I buy. So I was going out and buying all this strange food that I wouldn't normally buy. So it's cost me a fortune as well. So yeah.
What about training wise? What kind of things were you doing training wise?
So training wise, there was like the home workouts that you could do with dumbbells, but it wasn't really pushing you. You never, would have said like to increase weight or anything. And never, taught you anything about that. And then there was also quite a lot of HIIT, which is fine. I don't mind a bit of cardio, but then when you're like trying to squeeze that in along with everything else, it can get a little bit too much.
Just whenever you were doing your diet plans and stuff, just for a little bit of background for those who are going to be watching this, where were you in terms of like dress size, body weight? What were the sort of things that you were struggling with at that time?
I would say most probably a little bit of everything. Body weight, obviously, I think back then I was maybe about 11.4 stone, I think. I had I'd never lifted a weight before then or anything. I had no muscle tone or definition or anything.
So you came into our sort of world, you've seen a little bit about what we do then, you hopped into our coaching. What was the sort of attraction this time around from coming from that sort of background of trying previous things in the past, those things having maybe worked for a period of time and then ultimately failing? There's a lot of people in that category are feared to try new things or do something else because they feel like they're just getting sucked in to another thing. So what was the sort of deciding factor? What was the sort of attraction to us for you? What made you sort of join us?
So I've been following yourself for quite some time and obviously seeing other people's transformations, but you see that all over social media, pictures from then to now. But I think I'd read on I can't even remember what it was, but it said, that you teaches your own nutrition and your own diet plan and you wouldn't be given one and things like that. When I'd seen the online coaching, and I think, was it like a 3-month thing? If you weren't happy, then you could opt out. So that sort of suited me. I thought, well, I can give it a go. In 3 months, if it doesn't work, it's only 3 months.
So you jumped in. Tell us a little bit more then about how things changed. Once you came in, you moved away from the diet plan kind of approach. You learned then about the flexibility and the freedom that we give to people. So how did that change things for you then, having that sort of different approach?
The main thing would be shopping wise and cooking for my daughter, obviously, and you don't want to be cooking 2 different meals every night, and understanding the fact that you already have a diet, you just maybe need to slightly adapt it a little bit, and that you can fit in the foods that you want to eat and your family want to eat, and you can also then go out for meals and enjoy them with friends and family, and you're not sort of sitting back with a chicken salad.
So is it having that freedom, that flexibility of being able to eat what you wanted, having the restriction lifted, being able to find food that you enjoyed for the first time? How long did it take you to sort of get your eyes open to going, right, this is a whole different way of doing this, away from the diet plan side of things? What was it like for you in the first weeks getting your sort of eyes open to being able to eat what you wanted on a daily basis?
I think for a while it took me a little bit just to come over the guilt thing, because I thought, no, I shouldn't actually be having this. And at first I sort of just tried to stick to like the clean stuff sort of thing. But the further and further I've got into it, the more I've learnt that no, you can have a chocolate bar and you can have a burger or chips, or you can have your pizza or your glass of wine. That everything can be incorporated into it.
Awesome. So in terms of the results and the progress side of things, because it was after I seen your photos you sent me over the weekend, I was like, this is pretty awesome. We need to have a bit of a chat. So tell us a little bit about then sort of progress that you've had then from sort of April, May time then to now in terms of where you started, how changes of weight, body weight, tape measurements, what exactly has happened then over the last number of months?
So yeah, I think there's quite a dramatic change in terms of numbers. Yes, there is. Obviously, there's quite a. I should have maybe had a look at centimeters and weight. Weight I think is about maybe 13 pounds difference, and that's been a long time from April. And that's another thing, is trying to understand the fact that that's just a number on a scale. I've come a lot more happier with, like, it goes up, it goes down. Whereas before, if you put on 2 pound, that would have been like, oh my god, I need to go to the gym, and I've overcome that. And then in terms of the gym side of things, I don't see it as a punishment anymore. I actually enjoy going to the gym and working on pushing a goal, like increasing the weight a little bit. Each time I go, set myself a new target, and that way, that little challenge has just made everything a little bit more, as I say, yeah, enjoyable.
Yeah, and I think we'll definitely get the photos up from April to now, because 13 pounds over what, a 6-7 month period. People are looking to maybe lessen that goal, and that's only £2 a month. Sounds a little bit slow for me, so it does. But whenever you
Yep.
put your photo from April to now, it's a pretty ridiculous looking transformation physique wise in terms of what's happened. So we'll get that up perhaps after this video, and people can have a little bit of a look.
Yep.
There then. What's your plans then going on into 2019 then with your own training and nutrition?
Yep. So before I'd done a slight little increase in calories with you before, just to obviously step away from a dieting phase. So going forward is to obviously start increasing, start enjoying more food, more flexibility, and also building some bigger muscles. If that sounds right, I don't know if that's the right
Yeah,
word.
let's just touch on this a
Um,
wee bit, because you're another one or another client of ours who's been through multiple phases. Where were you pre this in terms of always being focused on the fat loss side of things? Now you're very much open now to increasing your calories. You understand how that works, gaining muscle tissue, the pros
yeah.
for that. How's your mindset sort of changed from being sort of perhaps all focused on the fat loss side of things to now where you're just like happy to put calories up? You've now got a bit more structure to things. How has that changed for you?
I'm not gonna lie, like, it is hard. You sort of go into it and you think, oh no, you want to keep dieting, but in the long run, like looking back, over, I would say maybe the past 4 to 6 weeks, looking at your consistency and thinking, well, hang on, you're not being consistent here. There's no point in trying to like fight a losing battle, so to speak. So just trying to change your mindset a little bit at a time. So at the minute, I've only increased a few days until I'm happy with that, and then I'll spread that across the week. And that's everything that you've taught me as well. So if I was to do that alone, I wouldn't have a clue, like. But yeah, I think mindset, just slowly doing it rather than rushing full steam ahead into it.
Awesome, awesome. Last question then. So again, for somebody like yourself who you sort of sat around on the fence, you looked at things.
Yeah.
Is he real? Is he another diet chicken and broccoli guy? For someone who's now been with us for almost a year, what would you say then to someone who's sitting in a similar position to you, or watching other people, watching videos like this here, having people
Yeah.
talk about things? What would you say to someone like that?
To put their faith in you. And I think all the other girls that have put up the video testimonies are proof of that. And the only way that you're ever gonna know is by doing it as well. Um, yeah, like, just 3 months, as I say, I think you have an option for if they're not happy or whatever. Like, 3 months, you think come January, the amount of people that go out and buy stupid diet drinks or whatever else, the money they would spend on that, they could invest in you and see the other side of the fence is a lot more easier.
Yeah, awesome, super. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
your time for doing that.